Hello everybody, I am Jackie and you are listening to Jackie Teaches English. This podcast has been created for all of you out there learning English and is designed to help intermediate speakers become more fluent. Each week, you will improve your listening skills, learn new vocabulary, and learn more about the English-speaking world. Want to read along with the audio? Go to www.jackieteachesenglish.com where you will find a transcript of this episode. Without further ado, let's dive in. We normally think of January as quite a slow month, especially for stores and retailers. After all of the Christmas shopping and parties in December, most of us try to tighten our belts and spend less the following month. The idiom to tighten your belt paints a picture in our minds of someone reducing their belt size because they can't eat as much as they did before. We understand it to mean to spend less money than you did before, because you sadly have less to spend. That being said, January can also be a very popular month for making returns. We may have received gifts from friends and family that we don't need or that don't fit us, and we decide to return them. We all assume that when we return an item, it goes back to the company where they process it and put it back on the shelves to be bought again by another customer, right? I genuinely thought that until I started doing some reading. There's a fantastic article by Pamela Paul in the New York Times entitled, "When You Return Those Pants, There's a Price You Don't See," and it was eye-opening for me. First off, I think it's fair to say that online shopping has skyrocketed in the last decade or so. If something skyrockets, we mean it shoots up quickly. We can now buy anything online: our groceries, books, tech gadgets, medicine, and clothes. Clothing in particular is a huge problem. Traditionally, shoppers go to a physical store, also known as a brick-and-mortar store, where we can try on items of clothing first before purchasing them. With the advent of online shopping, we now can add several items to our online shopping basket with a click of a button, fully expecting to need to return at least half of them. In fact, many people now prefer using their home as their changing room. Many consumers will purchase the same item, but in 3 different sizes or in 5 different colors, so that they can pick the best fit. After all, it's far easier to add several items to a shopping basket instead of walking into town. But what happens to all of the others that we send back? Well, that's the problem. We may think that there is no harm in purchasing items online just to send them back, but that could not be further from the truth. What most online shoppers don't realize is that many returned items never get resold at all, and they end up in a landfill. This sounds crazy to me, but it is true. We never think about the hidden cost of those free returns offered by online retailers, and unfortunately, it is our planet that is footing the bill. By the way, to foot the bill means to pay the bill for something, especially when the amount is considered high or unreasonable. Firstly, the transportation required for returns creates 16 million tons of carbon emissions per year. Secondly, it is actually cheaper for the seller to throw away the item instead of putting it back on the shelf. When you think about the time and resources that have to go into inspecting every item and repackaging it, I suppose it makes sense that the company will actually lose money on that £5 t-shirt we sent back if they try to resell it. Fast fashion, in particular, is the planet's enemy, coming in at the world's 3rd most polluting industry after construction and food, according to earth.org. 24% of all clothes bought online are returned, and this means, sadly, they are probably dumped or destroyed in field, the new term given to this practice. So what does all of this mean for us? None of us set out to destroy the planet. Online shopping and returns seemed so easy, but consumers are now starting to see the knock-on effects. A knock-on effect is a secondary or an indirect effect of an action. What can we do about it? First, I think that we need to make a lot less returns. This is, of course, sometimes unavoidable, but I've decided that if there is a brick and mortar store that I can get to in order to try on my clothes there and then, I'm going to do that instead of ordering online. Secondly, it's always a good idea to double check the items you've put in your online shopping cart before purchasing. It's easy to accidentally select the wrong size or color, and by getting into the habit of confirming your selections, you could avoid a lot of unnecessary returns. Thirdly, I think it's important that we move away from this fast fashion phenomenon entirely. Buying better, longer-lasting items that you will enjoy for years to come is so much better than constantly purchasing cheap items online. You'll need to replace them frequently, or return them because you will be disappointed with the quality of the garment. As with all things, awareness is key to progress. I think many of us got lured into the trap of online shopping, and there is a lot to like. The ease of purchasing something without having to leave the house, the online discounts that brick and mortar shops can't match, and the seemingly easy returns process are just some of the many benefits. However, as with all things, sometimes if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. As conscientious shoppers, we can change our habits. We can shop more mindfully and commit to returning a lot less. And on that positive note, we are going to wrap it up here. Thank you for listening to this episode of my podcast, and I hope that you found it useful. If you would like to share how you prefer to shop, leave a comment because I would love to hear from you. And if you liked this episode, please consider subscribing, sharing it with a friend, or rating it on your podcast app. This will help more English learners find us. And if you want to take your English further, remember that you can find a full transcript of this episode, along with vocabulary and bonus activities, on my website, JackieTeachesEnglish.com. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week with another episode of Jackie Teaches English. Bye!